Okay, so this is the comparison video between the new Infinix Hot 30 and the Tecno Spark 10 Pro. They are both in the same, almost the same price category. So let's see the main differences between this. Let's get it. To start with, let's start with the pricing. The Tecno Spark 10 Pro came out about a month ago and it's actually going for 1,900 to 2,100 depending on the storage variant that you go for, whilst the Infinix Hot 30 actually starts from 1,700 to 1,900 depending on the storage variant that you go for. So right from the start, you can see when it comes to the pricing, the Tecno Spark 10 Pro is slightly more expensive than the Infinix Hot 30. So in this video, we're going to find out if the price difference is actually worth it. So let's get to it. To start with, let's start with the design and the build. When it comes to both devices, they are almost the same size, as you can see, very almost the same size. And when you look at the design, they almost look the same. The first difference that you are going to notice is when it comes to the camera rings. It looks like what we have on the Tecno Spark 10 Pro is slightly bigger in comparison to what we have on the Infinix Hot 30. This is more premium feeling if you compare it to this, but they almost look the same, like I said, from the back. And all around, they all have a fingerprint sensor mounted into the power button, so it's something that you can see on the right side. They all have a Type-C port at the bottom, a speaker and a headphone jack. And also both devices also have a poncho camera for the screen. They both have two slots for your SIM card and also a micro SD card. So the main differences between these two devices has to do with the back. The back of the Tecno Spark 10 Pro is glass and the back of the Infinix Hot 30 is plastic. And you can see this is definitely a fingerprint magnet because this has this matte feel, which makes it very hard for you to see any fingerprints on this. So in general, I'm going to give it to the Tecno Spark 10 Pro when it comes to the design and the build. This is cool. Okay, now let's talk about the displays. The display we have on the Tecno Spark 10 Pro is a 6.8 inches display, whilst what we have on the Infinix Hot 30 is a 6.78 inches display. They both are IPS displays. They are both 1080p panels, so they both have a poncho camera at the top, like I said. So that makes both screens look almost the same. And they are all 90 Hz. So both devices are supposed to feel smooth anytime you are interacting with it. So both devices are 90 Hz. But if you ask me which one I feel is slightly faster, the 90 Hz on the Infinix Hot 30 is a little bit faster to my eyes. So that is one of the differences that I think I see. Okay, so when it comes to watching content on both devices, to be honest, they both look almost the same. But if I had to pick, it looks like what we have on the Tecno Spark 10 Pro is slightly deeper in comparison to what we have on the Infinix Hot 30. But in general, they are almost the same. You can't really tell the difference. So when it comes to the displays, I think both of these are good. But what actually separates when consuming content on both displays is that the Infinix Hot 30 actually has a stereo speaker, so you can actually hear the sound coming from here and here, which makes it a bit more immersive in comparison to what we have on the Tecno Spark 10 Pro. This doesn't have a stereo speaker setup. Start with the Tecno Spark 10 Pro. For the screens, to be honest, they are both the same. They are both IPS, they are both 90 Hz, the colors are okay, they are all 1080. So if you're purchasing this for the screen, the same size and almost everything, it's actually very hard to tell the difference between the two. So I think they are both okay when it comes to the screen. Whilst on that, let's talk about the fingerprints really quick. They both have fingerprint sensors on the right side, and I can tell you, let me just illustrate to you first. This is what it's like unlocking the Tecno Spark 10 Pro. As you can see, as you can see, as you can see, let's feel what it's like unlocking the Infinix Hot 30. So from my eyes, once again, it feels like the Infinix Hot 30 is slightly faster in comparison to the Tecno Spark 10 Pro. Let's do it one more time. Yeah, so getting into the Infinix Hot 30 is slightly faster in comparison to the Tecno Spark 10 Pro. So that is that for the fingerprint sensors. Now let's talk about performance. Let's see what comes in both devices. In the inside, they look like the same thing. So both devices have the MediaTek Helio G88. This can be found on the Tecno Spark 10 Pro and also on the Infinix Hot 30, and they all come with Android 13 out of the box, so that is no problem. But the Tecno is running the HiOS 12.6 and the Infinix is running the XOS 12.6. So basically, it looks like it's the same thing but with different names. And for both devices, you can also increase the RAM capability all the way to 16 gig using memory fusion. On the inside, it doesn't really feel any different. And when you take a look at the Geekbench also, you can see they are almost the same. They are literally a few points apart. For the single core score, they are both almost the same, just one apart. And the multi-core score, this is about 90 difference. But do you actually see it in everyday life? Like I said, they both feel like the same devices. When it comes to operating it, everything that you do, they both feel like the same. Let's run a quick app opening test to see which one is even faster. Core button, the same. Camera, the same. Chrome. Okay, this was a little bit faster. Play Store. This even opened faster than the Tecno. Phoenix browser. This also opened faster than the Tecno. And YouTube. Which one? They both seem to open the same. And for performance, I can't say this is significantly better than this. Trust me, if you're using both devices, they actually feel the same. You can actually even tell from the Geekbench score. The performance on both devices are actually almost the same. So now let's talk about the batteries that come in this device. Both devices come with a 5000 mAh battery, but the Tecno Spark 10 Pro supports 18 watts of charging, whilst the Infinix Hot 30 supports 33 watts of fast charging. So when it comes to the charging, the Infinix Hot 30 actually takes about 1 hour and 25 minutes to fully charge from 0 to 100%, whilst the Tecno Spark 10 Pro is going to take you about 2 hours to charge. So that means if you wake up in the morning, you can actually charge your Infinix Hot 30 way faster in comparison to the Tecno Spark 10 Pro. So the charging speeds on both devices, the Infinix Hot 30 actually takes that. So I think that is also very impressive considering it's the cheaper devices amongst these two. Now let's talk about the cameras. When you turn this around, they all have what looks like a triple camera setup, but as usual, it's only one main sensor, an AI camera, and a flashlight. The difference for the cameras has to do with the selfie camera. The selfie camera on the Infinix Hot 30 is just an 8 megapixel sensor in comparison to the 32 megapixel sensor found on the Tecno Spark 10 Pro. The Tecno Spark 10 Pro is way sharper, way clearer in comparison to the Infinix Hot 30. Probably because this has a higher megapixel camera, so the details are more in comparison to what we have on the Infinix Hot 30. Okay, so this is a front camera video test on both devices. Let me know what you guys think about the skin tones. Also, how does the dynamic range look like? It kind of looks pretty decent from the viewfinder, so let me know what you think about that. Also, let's test out the stabilization for the front camera. Let's jog a little bit. Let's see how it would look. Which one do you prefer? Let me know your choice in the comment section down below. And if you look at the footage that was taken by the main cameras, they both look the same. It looks, from my eyes, it looks like the Tecno Spark 10 Pro saturation is slightly a bit more in comparison to the Infinix Hot 30. That is the main difference that I see in the rear camera pictures. But For the cameras, it's obvious that the Tecno Spark 10 Pro is the better one, not just because of the megapixels, but the selfie camera was significantly better than what we have on the Infinix Hot 30. But for the main sensors, I think they're almost the same and that shouldn't be an issue. So considering that this is about 200 Ghana cedi cheaper if you're going for the high spec model in comparison to this, which one are you going to go for? I think this is a very, very close pick. If it comes to design and the build, I give it to this. If it comes to the screen, they are both okay. If it comes to performance, they are both okay too. If it comes to the battery, I'll give it to the Infinix Hot 30. And when it comes to the cameras, it's kind of like Tecno Spark 10 Pro. So which one do you prioritize when you're buying a phone? Let me know which one you'll be going for, which one you think is the winner of this comparison. Thank you for spending time with me. If you're new to this channel, of course, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next upload. Peace. I'm out.